In this demo, we're going to look at TCP Dump. TCP Dump is a free open source command line utility that captures network traffic on Linux systems. TCP Dump works a lot like the popular packet capturing program Wireshark, but many network administrators prefer TCP Dump because it works in the terminal. TCP Dump prints out all the traffic it captures in your terminal. You can filter the packets using various expressions and save the captured packets for later analysis. I have a Linux system running here, and I want to open the terminal. I can do this by going up to search your computer, typing in terminal, and hitting enter. Once the terminal appears, I want to install TCP Dump. I have to do this as a superuser or sudo. So to install, I'm going to type sudo apt get install TCP Dump and press enter. It asks for my password and I'll type it in here. You can see here that TCP Dump is already installed with the newest version. If it wasn't installed, it'll install it. If an older version's installed, it'll just update to the newest version. I'm going to type clear to clear the screen. Before we talk about how to use TCP Dump, the first thing you'll want to be aware of is the command to display the manual, man TCP Dump. You can read through this manual and see all the different expressions that can be used. Toward the bottom, you can also see examples of the different ways to use TCP Dump. If this manual is hard to read, you can find the exact information from the official TCP Dump website at www.tcpdump.org. We don't have time to go through every single example, but we'll cover a few here. Let's jump right in and start to capture traffic. To do this, I need to know what my network adapter is called. I can quickly type in ifconfig, which displays my IP address, but also shows me the name of my network adapter. I can see that it's called ETH0. That's what I will need to know. For the first command, we're going to tell TCP Dump to capture traffic on our network interface. The interface is identified by -I and then the network adapter. It also requires superuser privileges to run. So let's type in sudo tcpdump -I ETH0 and press enter. Once we press enter, TCP Dump starts to capture network traffic going through my network interface card, but there isn't much going on yet. Let's open a web browser to create some traffic. As you can see, TCP Dump starts to capture that traffic. To stop the capture, I can press Ctrl+C. You can see that in just a few seconds we were able to capture 292 packets. 549 were received by filter, and 257 were dropped by the kernel. And you can see that we've captured some web traffic, mostly HTTP and HTTPS, from when we opened our web browser. Okay, so far we have looked at capturing network traffic that has traveled through my network adapter on this system. But what if we wanted to capture traffic from another computer or our entire network? We know our network switches don't forward traffic to all ports, only to the destination ports based on the physical address or MAC address. So I've turned port mirroring on for my switch. We're not going to learn how to do that in this demo, but I wanted you to be aware of what I've done in the background. So we have port mirroring enabled on the switch port where my Windows 10 workstation is plugged in. Now all the traffic from that network interface card is going to get captured here with TCP Dump. If you're a student or studying for a certification exam and practicing these skills at your workplace or school, make sure you're not violating any of the organization's policies. You are, after all, capturing potentially confidential network traffic. I'll clear the screen again. Alright, I'm going to start capturing some traffic again here, but a few things are different. I'm also capturing from my Windows 10 workstation, and I'm going to just focus on just FTP traffic, which runs on port 21. To do this, I'm just going to type in sudo tcpdump port 21 and press enter. Now I'm capturing only FTP traffic. Not much is going to happen until my Windows 10 machine uses FTP. So let's jump over to my Windows 10 system and create some FTP traffic. I'm on my Windows 10 system and I'm going to open a web browser and go to a common FTP site on the internet, which is ftp.hp.com. This is where you can get files such as printer drivers. I'll click around here just to generate traffic. That's good enough. I'll close this window. Now let's go back to our Linux system and see what's going on with TCP Dump. I'm back on this Linux system. You can see a lot's happened, but when you look, everything is isolated to just FTP traffic. I can see the timestamp, hours, minutes, seconds, and milliseconds. I can see the name of the Windows 10 PC that I was on and the address of the FTP we were at. If this site required me to enter some sort of credentials, Those would have been captured and displayed in clear text, since FTP traffic isn't secure. Once again, there's a lot of uses for TCP dump along with lots of expressions that can be used to narrow your results. It's not as popular as some other packet capturing utilities and software, but it's still very useful to network admins. That's it for this demo. In this demo, we learned how to install and update TCP dump. We looked at the manual, where you can find a list of expressions that can be used. We practiced capturing some traffic on our Linux system and used port mirroring to capture traffic from a Windows system on our network.